Let me ask you this. We had Paul Scott of Plug-in America on the show last week, and we talked about how insofar as EVs are largely charged in off-peak times with off-peak power, a lot of which would be dumped back to ground anyway, you could put 90 million additional EVs on the road this afternoon without firing up an additional new power plant. That's good news. However, there are you said 215 million, I thought it was 230 million. There are a lot of cars in North America alone, and of course that just represents a fraction of the world's population. So where is this going in terms of renewable energy? Eventually, the grid won't be able to sustain this thing. Where are we going?
Well, there's several things to look at in terms of that. There are several new generation projects underway. One that we're actually working on at EV World and Associates that involves harnessing the river flow. One of our scientists has come up with a device, think of it as a Ferris wheel on its side, that we can lower into a river and catch the river current. And rivers flow 24/7. Right. So this turns a wheel, which turns a generator inside. We collect the electricity off of that. One thing it allows us to do is to start to decrease the number of coal burning plants, because 50% of the electricity in the United States today comes from burning coal. That's right. If we're going to clean up the air, we've got to address that issue as well as the exhaust pipes. Yes. So if we can get something like this along to supplement wind and solar, we think we can slowly decrease the amount of coal that's burned. And since it runs 24/7, is anytime you run a source that runs at night, the demand is not there. Right. And the 90 plus million vehicles comes from today's generation. If we add more 24/7 capability, then we're going to create more excess electricity. And we think we can cover it. The other thing is we drive toward efficiency and more green buildings and green power, then there's going to be power available during the day. So if you think of a building that you've put solar on and it's energy efficient, and if you cover your parking lot with solar collectors and there are electric vehicles underneath, then your building says, wait, I'm handling the load, it's cooler today than yesterday, so I'm going to take all the excess electricity I'm generating, instead of throwing it away, I'm going to run it into the electric vehicles that are out in my parking lot.
It's fascinating.
So think of it this way, we're going to get more efficient in our management of energy. If you look towards science fiction, and I'm very interested in science fiction, you see in the future that people are looking for, how do I optimize the use of energy, because it becomes very scarce. And in the past, we could do brute force solutions. I mean, if you needed a 1,000 megawatt power plant, you built a 1,200 megawatt power plant and realized if you threw 20% away, what did it matter? It was cheap. Yep. So as we increase efficiency and decrease demand, we're going to create this extra available power to put into electric vehicles. And the real key economically is, if the U.S. can drive toward energy independence by converting more to electric cars, by coming up with generation systems like the hydrokinetic wheel, we import less oil. Yes. And if we cut the demand for oil, then we lessen the conflict. Right. Because everybody wants oil.
For sure.